show you don't want to miss.
Thanks, Joanne.
It's Guru time.
Good evening. I'm Phil Herron, editor of the Daily Times and DelcoTimes.com. Welcome back to another live edition of our live stream internet program. We call this little show Live from the Newsroom. It's where we take the people and the headlines that are making news here in Delaware County. We gather some of the people that are intimately involved in some of those headlines. We bring them into our offices in beautiful downtown Primos, and we talk about the issues of the day. We are once again out on the road, and we have returned for year 2 of a very, very special experiment. We are once again on the campus of Widener University in Chester, and we are seated again in the majestic palatial digs. If you've ever been in the Daily Times, you'd know why I would say that. We are in the Freedom Hall, one of the newer buildings on the Widener campus, and we are inside the Communications Studies Program Hall here inside Freedom Hall. We're here to take advantage of a couple of things that are very, very unique here at Widener. We're here to take advantage of the great TV studio that they have here on the Widener campus, and it gives some of the kids who are involved in this program here at Widener the opportunity to do some live on-camera work. It allows us to dress up our little Live from the Newsroom show. Our plan is similar to what we did last year. We're planning to be here on the Widener campus once a month. We'll be using Widener students to man the cameras and the production. They'll work with us along with my technical director, my online editor, Vince Carey. And then we'll bring in some people from Widener's programs, some professors, students, alums, some officials, and we'll talk in a roundtable discussion form about some of the programs that are really making a difference here on the Widener campus as well as here in the city of Chester. One of the places that are obviously near and dear to the hearts of everyone at the Daily Times. If I had a quarter for every time someone had told me they'd been reading the newspaper since it was the Chester Times, I would have long since retired. Tonight we are going to focus on a great program that teams Widener students, staff, alums, and a very, very special outreach program that is providing a crucial service to residents here in Chester. The program is called the Chester Community Physical Therapy Clinic. It is completely student-run. It's overseen by faculty and is staffed by some of the grad students here at Widener. The clinic is now in its 5th year, and last year saw nearly 1,000 clients coming through the doors for various services. We brought in some people from Widener to talk about it, including a great group of graduate students who are going to talk about their experience. To my immediate left is Jill Black, Assistant Professor and Pro Bono Services Coordinator for the Widener Institute for Physical Therapy Education. And then our panel of grad students out on the far right is Brian Kennedy, a grad student in physical therapy and clinic coordinator for the Community Physical Therapy Clinic. And then we have 3 other grad students. On the left is Alana DiBiase. She's also a grad student and fund officer for the Chester Community Physical Therapy Clinic. In the middle is Daria Peretta, also a grad student. She's clinical coordinator for the clinic. And on the right, Nicole Nardone, another grad student and another clinic coordinator. Jill, if you don't mind, I'm going to start with you. The program has been in operations now for 5 years. Take us back 5 years. What was the impetus for this kind of a clinic?
I'm going to take you back 5.5, 6 years when the faculty here at Widener in the physical therapy program felt they wanted to have a pro bono clinic. We had some space that we could work with, and having a pro bono clinic where we could serve the needs of the community members of Chester that don't have insurance or have maxed out their insurance was right in line with our mission. So we found a lot of support from the university as a whole, And a colleague and I were charged by the faculty to investigate the possibility. We did a needs assessment. Definitely there was a need for this kind of service.
Absolutely.
But we weren't sure how we were going to run it, staff it, man it.
Always happens to be a problem.
Yes, we were a little short on resources there. We went to a clinic or a conference that was a student-run conference for student-run clinics. And my colleague and I went and took 2 students from the class of 2010 at that time. We really just took them to get an idea of what this would be like. They decided they wanted to be student leaders, just like they were seeing other classmates out there at the conference doing. So they came back and convinced us that they thought they, as students, could take on the leadership role. It took a little bit for us to believe that, but they indeed took it, and it's just been a fabulous phenomenon since.
All right, let's talk a little bit in terms of nuts and bolts. Where's the clinic located?
It is located in a building called Balin Hall, which is on the corner of Providence Avenue and McDade Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
It's within walking distance of the physical therapy program, and it's right on the public bus line for Chester.
Right.
So some of our clientele come in through the bus.
All right. Going to move now to some of our grad students who are involved in the program and actually staffing the clinic. And I guess, Brian, you're going to be up first.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and what drew you into this kind of a program.
Well, my background isn't in physical therapy or health sciences, it's industrial design. And I switched over to physical therapy in Widener's program, just looking for physical therapy to get in to help people and to do all I could, like in that vein of healthcare.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know about the clinic when I first came here, but finding out that was there, it just made it all that much better.
Alana, how about you?
I've been at Widener now, this is my 6th year. So I was in the 3+3 physical therapy program, and I figured out in high school that I wanted to be a physical therapist after doing a lot of volunteering and service. And then I ended up on the clinic board after doing a lot of service at Widener University.
Daria, what drew you into the program?
Well, it's the same as Alana. I also went to Widener for undergrad, and what drove me to become a physical therapist is my background in athletics. I also played soccer at Widener, so having a sports injury and going through physical therapy myself, I liked being able to help people and see people recover from injuries.
Nicole, what's your story?
I'm very similar to her. I knew in high school I wanted to be a physical therapist, and I sought out Widener's program. I did the 3+3 undergrad here as well. And similar to Alana, like we just had I loved Widener's commitment to service, and then when we came into the graduate program to have this clinic there, it was like the perfect fit and allowed us to kind of carry that over into what we want to do actually as well. So
A couple of things that I'm always fascinated about when I deal with the campus, Widener, and interaction with the city. One of the things that I would be interested in is with the 4 of you, are you from this area? Or did you come to Widener from a distance? Go ahead.
Yeah,
Start.
from a distance. I grew up in Staten Island, New York, so I'm far ways down.
What drew you to Chester?
I'm sorry?
What drew you to Chester?
The physical therapy program really drew me here, and
Right.
the idea that Widener's really civically engaged in the community, that was the end decision of me coming to Widener.
Nicole?
I'm similar. I'm from central North Jersey, about 2 hours from here. I looked for the physical therapy program, then I also played field hockey here in undergrad, and they kind of just matched up with everything that I was looking for in a school.
Daria?
I am actually from South Jersey, only about a half hour away. What drew me to Widener?
Everybody go over there for dinner, right?
Absolutely. But it was the soccer program and the pro bono clinic specifically that drew me to Widener.
Brian?
I'm from Montgomery County, which isn't too far from Widener, and I just love the whole area of Philly, Chester, southeastern Pennsylvania, and it was nice to stay down here. So.
Jill, is this now grown into something that is in the field known? Hey, you have the opportunity if you come to Widener that you can actually get this hands-on experience?
Yes, it's been exciting to see what the students have done, and it's really been largely their leadership that we've seen the growth. There's no way that as faculty we could have seen the growth that we've seen, but the energy that these students bring to it is what allows us to see that, and it's something that's caught fire nationally. We've had a number of schools learn of what we do here at Widener, and they in turn have an interest in doing it, and they reach out to us and contact us. We usually put them in contact with one of the student board members, and we've seen other programs across the country replicate the student-run pro bono clinic. model.
As I mentioned, one of the things that I'm always fascinated about is the interaction between the campus and the city of Chester. We obviously do a lot of coverage in the city, and when I'm down on the campus and I come in, if I speak to a class, I've spoken to some journalism classes and everything, I always make it a point to ask the students what kind of interactions they have with the residents and the city. And I'd like to get your take on it. Is it important to you to know that there is an interaction, that you're providing a service in the city?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with Brian?
I mean, I think it's great because we get to meet so many people from Chester in our clinic, and just hearing what they have to say and hearing how they appreciate what we do within their community. I mean, that's probably the best part of my day when I get to work with them. So.
Nicole?
Yeah, there, especially being an undergrad here as well, you kind of get exposed to like the significant need in this area, and I love how Widener, instead of being its own little bubble where everything's great and everything's good on Widener's campus, we really make it from day one on this campus that you're expanding out. And especially I love that our program, whether you're in the clinic or there's other community outreaches throughout the semesters, that we're always doing like blood pressure screens or setting up things at the elementary school locally, so that we're making kind of bridging that gap. So it's kind of always an open communication with them.
Daria, how about you?
I enjoy the most how involved the students are. They truly go to the clinic every night wanting to better our clinic and how we treat the patients, and have that one-on-one experience with the patients and how driven everyone is.
Alana?
I really enjoy getting into the community with the clinic and then beyond the clinic. So it was more for me that's really great, that how can you also incorporate the children in Chester and bring in other programs and combine to just make it a better collaboration.
Jill, that's, I would imagine, a fairly important aspect of it, the interaction and providing a service, which obviously is greatly needed in the city.
Absolutely. And it's wonderful to see the students in that they grow as physical therapy students so much more readily and quickly. They're learning much more than just about bones and joints and injuries, but now they're meeting people with real injuries, with real stories, with real lives, that now they have to incorporate all those pieces and put it together. And it's a complexity that we don't see in regular physical therapy school, as well as being able to be a service. And likewise, the clients end up teaching the students things as well. It's a mutual give and take, give and learn.
Is this, who do you find that for the most part is you're targeting in terms of your client? Are these mostly city residents?
We have a large number of city residents. We also have a large number of middle-aged residents. We only will see clients that don't have insurance or have maxed out their insurance. So anybody that has Medicare, 65 and older, likely will have insurance. So we find that there's a gap in up until Medicare. If you're not of Medicare age and you don't have that insurance, we see a large number of clients there.
What kind of things, when people come into the clinic, I mean, just tell people what kind of things or ailments are people dealing with?
I'll let some of the students answer
All right,
that.
Go
they
ahead.
can
Alana, we'll start with you.
I would say it's a lot of orthopedic issues. So you're seeing more of if someone had broken something or has a sprain or has some type of overuse injury. I feel like that's a lot of things that we've been seeing. Whoever wants to add on that?
Let's go right down the line.
Yeah, I agree with Alana. A lot of orthopedics. We do have a couple stroke patients. I worked with someone today who had a quad tendon rupture, so post-surgery patients. So it's a wide variety, but mostly orthopedic.
Nicole?
Yeah, I would say primarily orthopedic, a lot of low back pain, just your typical, what you would normally see in a typical like athletic injury or overuse stuff. And then we get a couple pediatric patients but not as many, like it comes and goes, I guess, with that. But especially with insurance, who has coverage with that, they kind of, but we see a good variety of clientele, I guess you could say.
Brian, how about you?
Oh yeah, I mean, what they said is exactly true, but I think the big part about all of our clients is just the backgrounds. So I mean, you can't quantify that or even talk about it because it's so different for everyone. So.
Talk a little bit about the satisfaction of, I'm assuming that very likely if these people didn't have the services at a clinic, they wouldn't get this kind of therapy at all. Does that play a role in the decision and the critical nature of the clinic as well?
Yes, yeah. I think I was thinking the other day, this was just a specific patient, but I mean there was one patient that we had that he had a stroke a while ago and his services had timed out, and he didn't have the best hand function, but he wouldn't have gotten it back if it wasn't for him coming to the clinic and then us learning from him and then doing as much as we could when normally he wouldn't have gotten everything he had gotten back.
Jill, let's talk a little bit in terms of numbers. I know you've been in operation now 5 years, seeing steady growth.
Yes, we are seeing steady growth. We were open 2 evenings a week for the first year, and we soon had enough clientele that we needed to open a third and then a fourth evening. So now we are Monday through Thursday from 4:30 to 6:30, and they see 8 to 10, sometimes 12 clients an evening. We were starting to max out our space, so in our third year, we went to the university and made the case known that we could see more clients if we had more space. So we worked cooperatively with that and doubled our space. We built out some of the rooms that were in Bale and Hall that we currently weren't using. So now we are at maximum capacity there, and if they continue to grow, we're going to need additional space very soon.
How many students are involved in the program altogether?
We have 50 students in a class. We have 3 classes, so 150 students total. On the board, there's approximately 10 to 12 students per class, so approximately 30 or so students are on the board. Every single student in the physical therapy program is involved in the clinic.
That's one of the things I was going to ask. That's now become part of the curriculum?
Yes, it's part of the curriculum, but even more than that, I find that the students do it whether it would be part of the curriculum or not.
Yeah.
I think that they've really come to see the value of being there, getting to practice their hands-on skills that they just learned in class and going up to the clinic and perhaps doing it that night. And I think that that's not something that we have to sell them on anymore.
Yeah.
They recognize the value of that and the meaning of that.
Yeah. Nicole, I'll start with you. The idea, as Jill just mentioned, a little bit unusual in terms of taking what is often a classroom experience and then literally going and doing it live and in person a couple of hours later.
That is so powerful. It's unbelievable because in class we practice on each other, so you can only mimic a shoulder injury so well, like with who you're with. So it's like you kind of learn those skills and then you immediately get to translate them into the clinic. And what's great is we always have students across the years, so like you'll have a PT 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So like your third year can be working side by side with the first year, so you're kind of being guided along the process, so you're not just like thrown in and expected to just know everything and be able to go and treat a patient. It's really a perfect hands-on learning experience that gives you that direct translation from classroom to in practice.
Jill, so it's not like a situation where certain students are now being selected for the clinic. Everybody in the physical therapy program gets an opportunity to work in the clinic.
That's correct. Everybody not only gets an opportunity, everybody's expected to. And I believe it's usually 4 or 5 evenings a semester that they are committed in the clinic. In fact, we found it somewhat unwieldy because we had so many students and different clients would see different students each time that the student board came up with the idea of perhaps breaking all the clients and all the students into teams.
Yeah.
So Daria's class piloted that this summer, and now there's a team A, B, and C, both of clients and students, and they meet once a month and talk as a team about each client's progress, hoping that maybe it's a good learning experience for the students as well as a good experience for the clients, because they'll have physical therapy students that are familiar with their case, even if they're seeing them for the first time.
Absolutely. That's sounds like a winner for all around.
Indeed.
On that type of situation. We'll talk a little bit again to our grad students. Obviously a tremendous hands-on experience now. So I guess the next question, I'll start with you, Alana, is where do you go from here? What is it that you have in mind? What do you want to do?
After I graduate, I do want to work in a burn unit. So I want to provide physical therapy services in intensive care burns, and then I also want to provide pro bono services internationally and have a clinic set up somewhere.
Is that all? Is that all you want to do?
That's it. That's it for now.
Daria, why don't you tell us about your plans?
I am actually keeping my options open. I find interest in many different aspects of physical therapy. I can see myself working with kids. I can see myself working with spinal cord injuries, a variety. So I'm still keeping my options open, and taking it day by day.
Nicole?
Similar. I have a passion for sports, like outpatient orthopedic stuff, but then with our program, we get to kind of experience all the different possibilities, especially through our clinical rotation. So after the past semester, I really enjoyed our acute care class, so one of my affiliations will be that. So I'm kind of keeping my options a little bit open in case I fall in love with like a different aspect of it along the way.
Brian, what do you want to do in the future?
I don't want to limit myself right now by giving a solid answer, but I really enjoy like rehab hospitals right now, working with brain injury, spinal cord patients. I've gotten a lot of just positive feedback about that, working with them. But beyond that, I really want to come back and teach. Because just from the clinic, I've gotten to work with like first-year students and teach them what I know. And I really enjoy that and think I can offer a lot to new students coming in.
All right, I promised myself I would ask this, so don't be embarrassed, but I'll ask it anyhow. How many times do the athletes from the teams come in and say, hey, can you take a look at this form?
I actually get that more from family members. Yeah, take a look at my back or my arm.
Yeah. All right, Jill, I want to do something now that give you the opportunity. I want the place to be packed. So if someone wants to be able to take advantage of the services of the clinic, what do they have to do?
Oh, that's fantastic. Daria or Brian, do you want to field that since you guys
Sure.
run this?
Yeah, so we have an online website, chestercommunitypt.com, which you can go to, and that'll have all the information about contacting us, emails, phone number, everything. What you need as far as a visit, if you qualify for coming to us and for our treatment. And once you contact us from that website, you can get all the information you need.
All right, there you have it. The opportunity for you to be able to use those services here in the city. You don't have to live in the city to take advantage of it. All right, we'll go to what we always do as we close out our show. We call this the lightning round. I'll go right down the panel. I'm going to start at the far end with you, Brian. Tell the people something they do not know about the Chester Community Physical Therapy Clinic. You get put on the spot now, and everyone else gets a chance to think about it.
They do not know that we have clinics from across the country accuse us of stealing their models and setup when we in fact started a couple of years before them.
All right, Nicole, you're up.
I guess I'll plug my little outcomes coordinator fact that this past year from 2013 into 2014, if we would have billed, we saved the Chester community over $130,000 of PT services.
There you go. There's a great little storyline there. Daria?
If patients are having a difficult time getting to the clinic, we will provide bus tokens to them to make it easier since we are right off the bus route.
That's great. Okay, Alana.
Thinking. The 5K that we have for the fund purposes. We get a lot of our funds from one of the main funding opportunities, which is the 5K. So we have a 5K at Widener 2 times a year, and that brings in a lot of our funds for the clinic.
Oh, when's the next one?
October 19th.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so you could sign up on the website.
Jill, that's one of the things that I wanted to ask you before I let you give your last word. Funding for this kind of a program. Where's that come from? How stable is it? Do you need more? Nah, you don't need more.
We need more space, right? The funds come from various fundraising events that the students put together. We also get a number of funds from donations from alumni and other people that are interested in the clinic. We do ask for a $5 fee for service if the clients are able to pay that. If they're not, we don't insist on having that. But what we've done is create a model where there's very little overhead. The university provides the space, they provide all the utilities, and the students are volunteering, our alumni supervisors are volunteering their time. So we're able to continue with a sustainable model, and the extra money that we get in is a perk to be able to get more equipment, to be able to have the students go out and talk about their experiences, et cetera.
All right, there you have it. A very, very novel program here on the Widener campus that pits together staff, faculty, grad students, support from alumni, and they are providing a crucial service here in the city of Chester. It is the Chester Community Physical Therapy Clinic. in what is very quickly becoming a very, very world-renowned physical therapy program here at Widener. A couple of reminders that I want to make sure that I bring in. Our next trip, when we come back to Widener in a month, we'll be back on campus on October 22nd. We're hoping, after all, this is the fall, it is campaign season. We're hoping we're going to be able to talk some Pennsylvania politics when we come back. We'll have our good friend, Professor Wesley Leckrone, and some of his political science students, and we'll talk about the key races that'll be just a couple of weeks off at that point. And speaking of which, we are hoping for next Wednesday night to have, for Live from the Newsroom, both Andy Riley, the head of the Republican Party in Delaware County, and David Landau, his compatriot with the Democrats, in the office, and we'll talk about the key races. Our thanks to our panel and their great opportunity to put a spotlight on this great program. Joe Black from Widener, and our panel of grad students. We have out on the right Brian Kennedy, and then Nicole Nardone, Daria Peretta, and Alana DiBiase. My thanks to the Widener community, everyone here, the students in the communications program at Freedom Hall. It's every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, live from the newsroom. We'll be back next Wednesday night at 7. We'll talk to you then. Thanks.
This is a show you don't want to miss.
Thanks, Joanne.
It's Google time.